Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 157. The latest Business Finance Bulletin with me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services, the commercial finance expert. In this bulletin, what small businesses can learn from the big boys, attitude to business finance and growth, and a new milestone for Funding Circle. As small business owners, I'm sure you'll agree we do have a lot of competitive advantages when compared to our bigger competitors, when compared to the big boys. We are nimbler, quicker, able to respond to changes in the marketplace much faster than the bigger lumbering giants are. But we have to accept sometimes that there are things that we can learn from the big boys. I was reading a survey just released by Robert Half Management Resources, and where they sat down and spoke to CFOs, Chief Financial Officers and Finance Directors, and talked to them about their plans over the next 12 months. What's keeping them busy? And there are things that come out of that which we as small business owners can adopt. First of all, 40% of them said that there's a real drive now on them to improve profitability. So what does that mean for you? Well, of course, it means sitting down, reviewing your pricing. When did you last increase your prices? You may be concerned about losing business, but hey, you may be surprised. Also, taking a red pen to your overheads. When did you last sit down and go through your bank statement line by line and hunting out those standing orders and those direct debits which go out every month, but you're not really sure what value you get? When did you last speak to suppliers about getting better pricing? Remember, they want to do business as much as you do. So if you threaten a little bit, listen, we want to do more business with you, but you need to be keener on pricing. All of that will improve your bottom line. Moving back to these strategies that these CFOs are undertaking, 39% of them said they've got a real drive for growth. In other words, they're not sitting back and just letting customers come to them. They are out there now going to be looking for new business, really driving the frontline staff to identify new clients. And of course, that's what you should be doing as well. Just take a look at your product line. When did you last review it? Is it still fresh? And lastly, 41% of them said they are looking for ways of increasing and improving technology within a business. In other words, trying to find new ways of doing things quicker and faster in order to improve profitability. So lots of things that you can be doing there in order to boost your profits. And one thing that these CFOs and finance directors said they're doing, they're going to be bringing in external people to help them achieve this, to make sure that they are accountable and they've got somebody really focusing on them to achieve results. In my last bulletin, episode 156, I mentioned some work recently done for a business growth strategist, Gavin Preston. And there was a great example there the workshop was doing of 10 or 12 business owners coming together every month, led by Gavin, and strategizing and keeping each other to account on growth. Really good results. Remember, if you want to check out Gavin's website, just go along at gavinpreston.com. Really recommend it. So there we are, some actions that you can take in order to boost your profitability and boost your business. How are small business owners viewing the next 12 months? Well, that's a $64 million question, isn't it? And it's a question that's been asked by the British Business Bank in their annual Business Finance Survey. Now, the British Business Bank is an umbrella organisation which is home to all of the government's finance-related schemes, all designed in getting finance out to small businesses. And they carry out this annual business finance survey to gather views of business owners about how they see their current position and, more importantly, how they see the next 12 months going forward. Well, first, the good news. Well, the survey does recognise that there has been an increase in the amount of money lent by banks to small businesses. And they note that there's been consecutive 8 quarters growth in the amount of money being lent to small businesses. They particularly note strong growth in asset finance and peer-to-peer lending. So all good news there, with more money coming out to business owners. But of course, there's a little bit of air of caution as well. When asked about growth expectations, 37% of small business owners said they expected to grow over the next 12 months. Now that's compared to 12 months ago for the last survey, when 56% of business owners said they were expecting to grow. So you can see there's quite a marked drop in growth expectations. What about borrowing generally? Now, interestingly, 71% of those businesses asked said they would rather control their growth than go and borrow money. In other words, are we just happy as we are? We don't want to get into any more debt. Now, in previous bulletins, I've mentioned that growth really does need debt if you're to do it well. And there's nothing wrong with good debt. If that debt you're borrowing is really going to power your business forward, then that's good news. But as we can see, 71% of business owners said they would rather stagnate than borrow. So another a little bit of a question mark over how business owners see the future. So really interesting survey there. Now don't forget, if you do want to borrow money for growth, you just give us a call and we're happy to chat it through. Just drop us a line, info@businessloanservices.co.uk. Turning now to the peer-to-peer finance sector, with news from Funding Circle of a new milestone being reached. Funding Circle, one of the leading lights in providing business loans to small businesses, and they've just announced that they have now breached a facilitated lending of £2 billion. Yes, £2 billion worth of loans given out to UK small businesses. A great achievement. Funding Circle, so they're an online lending platform, very easy to use. You can access loans from £5,000 up to £350,000, repayable over 5 years on a monthly basis, exactly the same as a normal bank loan. It's a really great way of accessing growth finance. If you want to know more about what Funding Circle can do, just go along to their website, fundingcircle.com, or alternatively, give us a call and we'll be happy to guide you through the process. So well done to the Funding Circle team, a great milestone having been reached. Well, that's it for another bulletin, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and a share. Don't forget, if you're watching the video version, you can download the podcast version, available on iTunes, SoundCloud and Stitcher. Just go to those channels and search for Business Finance Bulletin. And if you're listening on the podcast version, check out my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, search for Rob Warlow, and there you will find this bulletin, other bulletins and a host of other videos with tips on raising finance and dealing with banks. So thanks very much for being with me. Look forward to being with you next time. In the meantime, have a great, successful and profitable week. Bye-bye now.